guys, it's Jack Sandberg. Just wanted to fill you guys in a little bit on a topic that is controversial. Okay, the reason I want to address it is because normally I don't address this kind of stuff once in a great while, but I've been addressing it a lot more lately because we get this stuff in this culture where it first it was bad because it was lies the other way. You don't take steroids because you're gonna die, and this and that is cheating, and it's the easy way out, and all these other things, and it was mostly fabricated by lies, okay, and that pissed me off, okay. But then you have the other side of the argument, okay. You can take whatever you want. The more the better. They don't hurt you. There's nothing wrong with them. You won't ever harm yourself. They're just like vitamins, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Again, all lies. So and then you got the people in the middle. Okay, Rich Piana, Lee Priest, Dan Duchesne. You get some of these other guys in there, and Bill Phillips. Okay, Ronnie Coleman. Who else was open about their lives? Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then you get some athletes that are very honest with how much they take, what they took, when they took it, or are taking, right? And now you get these knuckleheads, and some of them might have some knowledge about what they're saying, and some of it's just made up, completely made up. Just because somebody gets online, makes a video and says, this athlete takes this and this and this and this, it doesn't always mean it's the truth. Especially if you go and you look at that same athlete in another video, there's completely different dosages, maybe even a different drug, right? Or drugs. Okay, and so you cannot go off of that unless you really, really trust the source. Anybody can make a video and say anything, okay? It doesn't mean that they're telling the truth. Here's who I go to for this kind of stuff, okay? Doctors, okay? And I talk to all of them. I talk to from the family practitioner who knows usually nothing about them, okay, to, and some of them do, some of them don't, but most of them don't, okay? And we'll test them out any day of the week, and I can tell within just a couple of questions, or just listening to what they have to say for a few seconds, I can usually pick up right away if they know what they're talking about, or they've just gone to an anatomy class in their basic and breath college courses that say steroids are going to kill you, and here's the list of side effects. And if they're just rambling off some side effects, and they just say it's really, really bad and it's going to harm you, and they don't have any other opinion, they're full of shit. They do not know what they're talking about. However, if they're like, for example, my family practitioner, my last 3 family practitioners, okay, and one who wasn't, but he was a close personal friend, and he would go out, and before writing me a prescription for growth hormone, he called somebody from a university way down on the other side of the United States in Florida or something like that, and then he called some other colleagues as well to get a bunch of research to make sure that this is not going to harm me at 1 unit a day, okay, which doesn't even count, by the way, but as far as possible health side effects, is very minimal, and then for benefits, also fairly minimal, but you can get some good results from the 1 unit a day. But that's more the women's dose, 1 to 2 units safely, and men's dosage safely 2 to 4. Now, let's continue to get into this stuff because it's very important. So you got a bunch of these people that are going to listen, they're going to watch this. It's supposed to be for entertainment purposes only. I don't know why he's doing this and putting his health at risk by just trying a bunch of other stuff when there's so much out there that we already know what works for some things, works for doesn't, some more dangerous than others. But he's anytime there's a new compound, there's this or that, he doesn't know very much about, or it's brand new, he'll go out and take it. experimenting on himself, you hear different things. So you hear it was either Lee Priest or somebody else. It might have been Mark from Tiger Fitness, but it was somebody was talking about how he was not a Dan Duchaine because he was doing way more and this and that. So they're kind of both right. Okay, I've heard he is a Dan Duchaine. I heard he's not. Dan Duchaine did. He experimented on himself, and he did pass away between the ages of 42 and 44, which is part of the problem with just going and throwing a bunch of shit against the wall when it comes to this kind of industry and seeing what fits and what works and what doesn't. What side effects are. And of course he was using black market stuff to make it even worse. And I believe that, I haven't seen the documentary and I just heard a lot about it. Seen some short clips on previews on it, right? I guess there was a lot more involved in that. There was than just sitting around they got the worst of the worst, supposedly, according to Tony Huge. He says that they were talking about so many different topics that one thing alone, without even mentioning the steroids at all, were a good theme. And so a lot of that stuff they would do, he just decided to do a crazy blast. Some people do like 10,000 calories a day, and you go, then these big guys that do strongman say, you know what, just for video, for shock factor, let's do 20,000 or even 30,000 calories today, right? And they do it, and it's crazy. So that's what he was doing, was a blast, and it was from an entertainer's point of view, and even as an athlete, I can kind of appreciate what he's doing because of the maturity to not just go out and do what he's doing, okay? And he's an adult, and his opinion is same as mine. It's your body, it's your choice. You can put what you want into your body, okay? I just want to make sure that these viewers aren't watching this guy and going, I'm going to do the same thing, okay? Because it can harm people doing it like that, okay? And I want to see people make conscious, focused decisions and calculated risks, or leave it alone altogether. And for people who say, which one of those should I do if I'm going to do either the calculated risk or do the not at all, because I'm obviously not going to be a knucklehead and do stupid shit and try to take, large dosages year round. And that's a good question as well. And my opinion on that is it's your choice, it's your body, and I'm not going to push you into one way or the other, right? Because my belief is stay natural for your entire life, and that would be kind of hypocritical of me, right? Because there's people who have done stuff and not done stuff, right? And so it is what it is, because I know, Showtime has been through a doctor, and he's taken them. And so for me to say, because I train Showtime and everything else, that, you can't take him, you got to stay natural, when I let him do it, it would make me a hypocrite, right? So what I will say is, it's your decision, and if you do go that route, you got to be 21 years old, okay? At least 18 to 20, but I would rather you wait until your 20s or 30s if you can hold out, okay? But again, your body, your choice, you're a fucking grown-ass man or grown-ass woman, you do what you want. But my recommendation is talk to the experts. Talk to at least minimum 3 to 4 different experts, and I would say in different fields. So you would go, check this out. I like my family practitioner. Okay, you go talk to that person. Go talk to him or her. It doesn't matter if they know much about it or not. They're going to have an opinion on it. Listen to it, absorb it. And if you believe that they know at least somewhat of what they're talking about, right? Listen to it. Take that into consideration. Let that affect your decision making one way or the other. Take it into account. Process it. Don't just let it. Just don't ignore everything they have to say with your mind made up. Listen to everything, right? Then go to the next person. Next person should be like a chiropractor, all right? And see what they have to say about it, okay? And then go to a sports doctor, okay? See what they have to say about it. They're probably going to know a lot. And even then, you might be 0 for 3 now. You might have hit 3 people that know very little about it, okay? now you go to somebody who's probably going to be, there's more people who are for this than against it. And that's why I want this to be your last stop, and I want a 3-to-1 ratio so that these other 3 people are probably going to be anti-steroids, anti-HRT, anti-TRT, which is not always the case, okay? Because I've got a chiropractor and a sports doctor. They're both right in the middle. They're not pro any of it, but they are for people who are of age, and even people in their 20s or 30s, unless they're way low. The chiropractor and the sports doctor both say the same thing. Wait until 40s or 50s, preferably 50s or 60s if you can hold out that long. And then it might be appropriate if your level's low. And if they're still normal, stay away from it, because you're always going to have to do either the PCT or the cruising, right, when you get off, okay? And so that's where he's at. He's more anti than pro, okay? But at least he's kind of in the middle, kind of give you a guidance on when, where, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And he's very strict and regimented on telling people. He doesn't prescribe it, but he's very adamant on, if you do it in your 50s or 60s, or if you even go in your 40s, okay, doctor's recommendation and nothing else. And the doctors don't give you almost anything. It's going to be about the same amount of gains that you get off of creatine. They're going to give you 100 to 200 millis every 10 to 14 days, and they're going to give you, like 400 millis once a month, okay? That's what I was prescribed at one time, and it gives a huge boost and a huge crash. And I think once a week or once every other week is a little bit better than just a large dosage once a month, in my opinion. But everybody's different. Every doctor's regimen and opinion and strategy might be a little different. And so we're on the real basic, healthy HRT, TRT. We haven't even gone into the PEDs. We haven't gone into the peptides. We haven't gone into any of that stuff yet. And yet, we have, and if you can be a lifetime natural, I have so much respect for that. I think that's freaking awesome. And if you don't, and you go the other route, but you are very careful and meticulous in your research, I have no issues with that. I have no problem with that. Can you still have adverse reactions? Of course. Can you still harm yourself? Of course. Can you even possibly die from it? Yes, you can. Do I know people who have done it very safely, a little bit over the HRT, TRT dosages? They're successful athletes, or at least competitive ones, and have little or no side effects? Yes, I do. I know people like that. So yes, I do know that there is a safer way to take them, but there is no 100% safe anything out there. You can't teach safe sex, but you can teach safer sex, because what's the number one prevention of not getting somebody pregnant, and not getting a sexually transmitted disease? Abstinence, right? Or celibacy, if you've already been active in the past and now you're not. That's the way to 100% sure way to not have any adverse side effects from sex, right? Protected or unprotected, okay? Is to not have it, okay? Just like the same thing with anabolic steroids. In moderation, safely through a doctor, you're probably going to be safer, right? But with those same things, what's the number one guarantee to get zero side effects? Not take them, right? But how realistic is that when you have several million people in the United States alone who take it? And many of them athletes, many of them non-athletes. And it's not in just bodybuilding, okay? Most of the top athletes are safer about it than in any other sports, okay? Because they research and do their homework. They go through doctors. They're not wild and crazy, the majority of them, like some of those videos on YouTube make them sound, which I'm making this video now. So that is my point. My wife was like, why are you doing this? And you posted all this stuff and these blogs and these journals that are freaking 10 pages long on a Facebook, and you get 0 likes and nobody watches the videos, so you're wasting your time. And my answer was, that's okay. It's something I need to do. If nobody watches it, if nobody gives a shit, that's okay. It's knowledge, it's out there. If they want to take advantage of it, they can. If they want to get it from somebody else, that's okay too. A lot of people aren't even in this lifestyle, so there's no need for them to watch it anyways, unless it's for entertainment purposes, or they know somebody that they think could help one way or the other. Okay, so if it's a benefit to them, they'll watch it. If it's not, they won't. And if they would rather get the information from somebody else, that's okay too. Just hopefully it's from the right person, right? From like somebody that I post in my videos, for example. Anabolic Doc, he's the guy to listen to. Dr. Johnson, Tri-Cities, good person to listen to. Successful athletes who either are all natural, or if they do go the other route and your mind's completely made up, and it's going to be a waste of my time to even try to get you to talk to doctors and research more and this and that, because you're just done your research and you're convinced already, and then there's no more need to waste any of your time or my time. Then you would talk to a person who is a successful athlete, who does the minimal amount, or at least moderation, so that you're less likely to hurt yourself. Okay, Sean Ray, he's up there in years, still looks great, and he took minimal stuff, and he kind of even had to kind of experiment around a little bit to see what worked for him, but with very, very sensible and logical dosages, right? He was very careful, and to this day he's never had one negative side effect, is what he says, and I believe him. So there are ways to take it that are safer. Okay, I'm still not going to put my stamp on it, so I've got a bunch of Bibles that there's a safe way to do it, because the range of audiences out there, and lifestyles and people and personalities, and people have predispositions and medically and all this other stuff. I can't say do it this way and you'll be safe. I can't promise you that. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. Do your research, look at the risk to benefit ratio, and at least do it sensibly and logically if you're going to do it. And you got to be a grown ass man or woman to do it. Test levels of kids are way too high. They're no business touching that stuff. So just make sure that if you are an adult, you do decide to do it, you do it the safest way possible. Because again, no safe way to do it. Why do I say that? People will drink a little bit of caffeine and have heart palpitations and borderline heart attack, right? And for no reason. They're in perfect health, seemingly, and blood work's great, and blood pressure's great, and everything else. And they drink a cup of coffee, and they freak out. It's dangerous for them, okay? But for most people, coffee in dosages of 1 cup a day is very, very safe, fair enough, but not for everybody. There's no perfect amount. People do an energy drink sometimes and die. Too much soda pop sometimes, die. And then you see somebody else drink soda pop all day long, energy drinks all day long, seemingly fine, seemingly no side effects, right? And then you got people who can't even have 1 tablespoon of fucking peanut butter. They swell up and get really sick, or completely die from 2 peanuts, 1 walnut, So you can't just throw a cure-all out there and say, do this, do that. It's the same thing with training. You can't just do a blanket training system for somebody. You can start off with a base. You got to ask health questionnaire questions and everything else. That's why my free consults take an hour. I make sure we go over everything and make sure to keep you as safe as possible, okay? Based off of your health history, your goals, your abilities or lack thereof, and we got to work around that and towards it. And so it's the same thing with anything in life, and this is one of them. You can't just throw out a blanket thing and just say, do this or that, and you'll be fine. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you these things. I can't make these kind of claims, okay? And more than anything else, I want to make sure you guys stay safe. That's my job as a parent, as a coach, as a trainer, as a husband, and everything else, right? Is to try to keep my people safe as possible. Sound fair enough? All right. Now, again, I apologize. I haven't even got into the stuff for athletes yet. I'm actually probably going to have, I might cover it. I might have Showtime do it. I don't know yet. But this is going to be based on, okay, when Showtime is done, what Showtime's been prescribed, right? Because he did everything or most of everything legally. I'm going to cover, or he's going to cover, dosages based off of personal experience, of Showtime's personal experience, but also the personal experience of other athletes, right? And their testimonies. I'm not going to throw out this athlete did this, that, or the other thing if I haven't heard from the horse's mouth. If they've told me, and I know they're okay with me being public about it, because if it's not, I'm not going to volunteer that information, fair enough. But if I've seen them do it in a video, or they've given me their permission, or just one of these people is, are open with everybody about it, and it's just no issue, then I'll share that with y'all. But if not, don't sweat it. I'm not gonna give your information out like that without your consent, or at least if it's not already public, okay? And I'm not even talking about public as in something printed without your permission in an article. I'm talking about you being on YouTube giving your own information, all right? So you guys have a great day. Again, I'm Jack Sandberg. Me and Showtime, we're the CEOs of Showtime Shred Fitness. And y'all have a great day. All right. Take care and God bless.